Good morning, children. Now, today we come to the next subtopic in the lesson, metals and non-metals, and that is the extraction of metals low in the activity series. So, we have seen that there are some metals which are highly reactive. They are at the upper end of the reactivity series. Then we have some metals which are in the middle. They have moderate reactivity, and some metals which have very low reactivity. So today we are going to see how metals which are less reactive, which have low reactivity, are extracted from their ores. Now metals which are low in the activity series are unreactive. To understand how these metals of low reactivity are extracted, let us take the example of how mercury is extracted from its ore. Mercury is a metal of low reactivity. So, to understand how this happens, let's take the example of mercury. Now, the ore that contains mercury is called cinnabar. Okay, so cinnabar is the mineral or the ore that contains mercury. Now, cinnabar is nothing but mercuric sulphide. Now, how do we write the formula of mercuric sulphide? Mercuric is nothing but Hg, it comes from mercury. Valency of mercuric is 2, sulphide is S, valency is 2. So when you cancel 2 ones are, you get HgS. So mercuric sulphide, cinnabar, is nothing but HgS. Now how do we separate this metal Hg from mercuric sulphide? Okay, so how do we extract this mercury from mercuric sulphide? So when this mercuric sulphide is heated in air, it is first converted into mercuric oxide. Okay, so you take this mercuric sulphide HgS, it's a solid, it's an O, and you heat it in air. So when you heat it, it will react with oxygen from the air. This oxygen is a gas. It gets converted into mercuric oxide. Now I'll write the formula of mercuric oxide first. Mercuric oxide. So mercuric is Hg, valency is 2. Oxide is O, valency is 2. So 2 ones will cancel. So you get HgO. So you get HgO, mercuric oxide, which is again a solid, plus you get sulfur dioxide gas. Is that clear? So when heated in air, this mercuric sulphide is converted into mercuric oxide. So this mercury will react with oxygen from mercuric oxide, and this sulfur will react with oxygen and form sulfur dioxide gas. Now we have to balance this equation. Okay, now if you look this side, there is one mercury here, Hg. On the left there's one, and on the right there's one mercury. On the left there is one sulfur, on the right there is one sulfur. There are two oxygens on the left, there are three oxygens on the right. 2 plus 1, 3. So how do we make it equal? Now suppose we write 1 here, this cannot be made 3. So if I write 1 here, it will be 2 ones are 2. After 2 comes 3. Now we cannot make this 3 at any cost. So we come to 4. So to make it 4 on the right, you write 2 here in front. To make this oxygen 4, you write 2 here in front. Now let's check. Mercury Hg is 1. Here this side there are 2. So to make this 2, you write 2 here. When you write 2 here, sulfur gets 2. Okay. On the right side, sulfur is only 1. So to make it 2, you write 2 here. So now let's check again. 2 mercury on the left, 2 mercury on the right, 2 sulfur on the left, 2 sulfur on the right. Oxygens, there are 4 on the left, on the right there are 2 2s are 4, plus these 2 6. So to make this 6, you just convert this 2 into 3. So you have 2 3s are 6. Now I could have done it directly, but I did it stepwise so that you can understand how you do it stepwise. Okay, so when heated in air, this mercuric sulphide is first converted into mercuric oxide. Now this mercuric oxide is then reduced to mercury on further heating. So here you heat. So this mercuric oxide on further heating is reduced to mercury and oxygen. This mercuric oxide is a solid, this mercury is a liquid, and oxygen is a gas. Now let us balance this equation. 1 Hg here, 1 Hg on the right. 1 oxygen on the left, 2 oxygens on the right. So to make it 2, you write 2 here. When you write 2 here, Hg gets 2, so you write 2 here. Okay, so remember, metals in the lower activity series are unreactive. So how are those metals extracted from their ores? To understand how that happens, we take the example of mercury, how mercury is extracted from its ore. So the ore which contains mercury is cinnabar. Cinnabar is nothing but mercuric sulphide. So you write the formula mercury and sulphide. Valency of mercuric is 2, sulphide is 2. So when you cancel, you get HgS. Now how do you separate the Hg from the S? How do you get mercury from the S? How do you extract the mercury from the mercuric sulphide? So you take mercuric sulphide, heat it in air. So when it is heated, it is converted to oxide. And then this mercuric oxide is then reduced to mercury on further heating. Now let's take one more example of copper, how copper is extracted. So copper is found as cuprous sulphide. Now what is the formula of cuprous sulphide? Cuprous is Cu, valency is 1. Sulphide is S, valency is 2. So after you cross multiply, you get Cu2S. Okay, so copper, remember, is found as cuprous sulphide in nature, and it is obtained by just heating it in air. So you take this cuprous sulphide, which is a solid, you heat it in oxygen, same way. So the copper will react with the oxygen and form cuprous oxide. Cuprous oxide. So again, cuprous valency is 1, oxide valency is 2. So after you cross multiply, you get Cu2O. This is a solid, and you get same way sulfur dioxide gas. So copper will react with oxygen from cuprous oxide. Sulfur will react with oxygen and form sulfur dioxide. Now let's balance this equation. We have 2 this side of copper. We have 1 of sulfur this side, 1 of sulfur this side. Here oxygens, there are 2, here there are 3. So to make this equal, to begin with, we put 2 here. So it becomes 4. To make this 4, you write 2 here. But when you write 2 here, copper gets 2 2s are 4. So to make this 4, you write 2 here. So sulfur gets 4 also. To make this sulfur equal, you write 2 here. So you have 2 2s are 4 of copper here. On the right, you have 2 2s are 4 of copper. On the left, you have 2 of sulfur. On the right, you have 2 of sulfur. On the left, you have 4 of oxygen. On the right, you have 2 2s are 4 plus 2, 6. So to make it 6, you make this 3, 2 into 3. Did you follow? So remember that this sulphide O is just heated in air and it is converted to oxide. Now this ore is taken and it is heated back again with some more ore, and on heating you get copper and sulfur dioxide. This is a solid while this is a gas. Okay, so Cu, we have 2 and 2 for this side. So to make it equal, let's see what we need to do. So before that, we'll balance the oxygens. So there's on the left side 1 oxygen, on the right side there are 2. So to make it equal, you write 2 here. When you write 2 here, copper gets 2 2s are 4 plus these 2 6. So to make it 6 here, you write 6 here. And sulfur, there's 1, and this side there is 1. Okay, so remember that copper is found as cuprous sulphide, that's Cu2s in nature, and it is obtained from its ore by just heating it in air. So with this, I have finished how you extract metals that are less reactive, which are in the lower part of the activity series.